Well, touring cars back with a bang, and bold liveries are the way to go. But before we take a look at the next round, let's have a look back at Donington Park and why I said bold liveries are the way to go. Well, it was a fantastic weekend for both Napa and Team Virtue. So clearly those bright colours are the equivalent of racing stripes this year, because they were absolutely flying in every single session. And I don't think anyone was really seriously bothering them. It was a two-team race at the top of the standings all the way through. Wasn't quite a nice, easy, relaxed weekend for anybody though. There were a number of punches up and down the grid, with some big names being affected by that, notably Dan Camish in race 1, Josh Cook later on. A few others definitely got punctures. I know Charles Rainford did. I'm fairly certain possibly Stephen Jelly got one at some point, and one of the Toyotas, and I'm probably missing a load. Unfortunately, I didn't see a lot of the racing whilst I was there. I've had to look at the quick highlights before I made this video, so I'm just going off what I saw on that and what I heard about at the time. But yeah, a number of punches up and down the grid. Slightly concerning, particularly as we go to Brands Hatch, which has Indy circuit has caused a few problems, particularly for the soft compound in the past. But you know, BTCC hasn't been massive for tyre issues, you know, so much over its history, certainly not to the extent of a lot of other major series. So I'm not expecting too many issues, but yeah, it was a bit of a talking point at Donington. So on to the all-important results, and frankly, more importantly, how did my predictions fare? If you watched Donington's preview video all the way through, you would have seen I made a few predictions: pole, winner of each race, and the independent winner of each race. And I went all in on Josh Cook, as I did in my season preview. I thought he was going to dominate and wipe the floor with every single independent entry. So this segment is going to be painful. So my pick for pole was, of course, Ash Sutton. I didn't see anyone getting anywhere near him, although I seem to forget that other people drove that Ford as well, because the actual pole winner was Dan Camish. Now, Ash Sutton said in a post-qualifying interview that I heard at the track that he probably had the time to get past, but didn't quite make it work. So I'm counting that as a near win for me. You know, I wasn't too far wrong, but yeah. That's 0 for 1 on the predictions there. So moving on to race 1 then, and first of all, overall winner. My pick, Ash Sutton. Pole to win. I saw it as pretty easy. Well, he may not have got pole, but he did save me here and did win race 1. Second was Tom Ingram, third Dan Rowbottom. So as you can see, Virtue and Napa right up the top there. On the independent side of things, how did my hope for the year, Josh Cook, fare? Well, I may have predicted him to win all 3 races, but he didn't win this one. No, the independent win in this race went to Mikey Doble, who finished a very impressive 5th place, I believe, in his Vauxhall Astra. So race 2, and I predicted another Ash Sutton win, and we got another Ash Sutton win. Second was, again, Tom Ingram, and third was Dan Camish, who just decided, you know, punctures can't hurt me, and drove through the field anyway. As for the independents in this race, we have to go a little bit further down the field this time to 8th place finisher to find our independent winner. And it wasn't Josh Cook, it was Chris Smiley in his Restart Racing in Hyundai. I nearly said Infinity there. That hasn't been a thing for years. So with 1 race to go, I am 2 of 5 on my predictions. It has not gone well, but there are still 2 left. We can get an above 500 result out of this. But we won't, because I predicted Gordon Shen to win the final race, and he finished 13th. I actually had to scroll down to see that. Yeah, the race was won by Tom Chilton. You know, I like Tom. So yeah, but another Team Virtue podium, but a win this time. And Tom Ingram got second again, with Ash Sutton third. Not a great advert for the new hybrid boost, not hybrid boost system thing for Success Ballast, but hey, it's round one. What are you gonna do? So 2 off 6 with 1 to go. It's not good. Can Josh Cook finally save me and get the independent win in race 3? He's clearly not had the weekend we all hoped so far. So will he turn it around? No, he won't. Actually, he did finish 11th, but he wasn't even in the top 10. So frankly, I'm gutted. The independent win actually went to Mikey Doble again. Just beat Chris Smiley by 1 place. He finished P7, Smiley P8. So there you go. I cannot predict independent winners or anything really to save my life, except for the fact that it's touring car, so Ash Sutton will be fast. Doesn't give me much hope for the predictions I'm going to make for Donington. I mean, Brands. See, I don't even know what track we're at. But enough about days gone by. Let's look ahead to the glorious future that is the Brands Hatch Indy circuit that awaits us in Kent this weekend. And, well, it's Brands Indy. It's going to be carnage. It's a 0.9 mile circuit. Whoever thought that was a good idea is clearly insane. But I mean, you know, there's only 24, or is there, cars on the grid? But before I get into that too much, let's have a quick look at some previous information for you. Qualifying lap record, Colin Turkington 2022, a 47.5. Race lap record, Ash Sutton 2023, a 48.2. There's no 1 in front of that either. It's Brands Hatch Indy. It's that small, in case you didn't already know. It's tiny. Last year's races, first 2 were run by everyone, but they were won by Colin Turkington, both of them. And then the final race was actually a maiden win for Ronan Pearson in the Hyundai at the time. So that's your brief run of history for this video. Now, there were 24 cars entered into Donington Park. There will be 25 at Brands Indy. Power Max are back to a 2-car outfit after I made a massive deal in my season preview about them being 1 car and Mikey Doble not being able to win the team's championship on his own. Anyway, 2-car outfit, and who has come back to the grid? None other than a driver that I took the mick out of AI on my previous video, Nick Halstead. Nick Halstead is back and in... yeah, a new car in the Vauxhall. Car looks pretty good, in my opinion. We'll wait and see, you know, what it looks like this weekend. But yeah, 25 cars. Nick Halstead's back. That's all I've got to say on the matter, really. So now for a time for me to fail miserably once again and try and predict some winners for you. Race 1. I've skipped quali. Hold that thought. Qualifying pole. Dan Camish. I don't know where that came from, but Dan Camish. There you are. Race 1. Dan Camish. I'm sticking to my guns on that. Race 2. Ash Sutton. Race 3. Tom Ingram. No, Jake Hill. Jake Hill. I'm going Jake Hill. Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. Possibly. I really don't know anymore. I'm just throwing names at you. But Jake Hill, I don't have time to go over it. Jake Hill. Independent winners. Race 1. Mikey Doble. He's flying in that Astra at the moment. Race 2. Chris Smiley. And race 3... Josh Cook. Knowing my luck, Josh Cook's going to have an absolute flyer of the weekend, win race 1, win race 2 overall, and just really embarrass me on this prediction. But I'm not that bothered. So that's enough yap from me. let's jump back onto RF2. And to honour his return back to the championship, I will be using Nick Halstead's 2024 Hyundai. Once again, same as last time, all the settings are the same, 10 laps, same AI, all that kind of stuff, starting from last, which means I'm definitely going to roll away on the grid this time. And other than that, yeah, we'll just see how far up we can get with no hybrid, because that's how it's going. I don't expect it to go much better than Donington. In fact, I expect it to go a lot worse, but we shall see.
So, theoretically, this should be less carnage because there's only 21 cars on the grid. Standard Brands Hatch fall into the wall as you get off the start line. We love that. That is a very real thing, and that is a very nice start to the race actually. We've already kind of got onto the back of the pack, and yet somehow not made any position there. Probably serves me right for trying to make it 3 wide into Paddock Hill Bend. Right, up the inside of Ronan Pearson, as we're already through Druids at turn 2. Trying to go around the outside of Huffy here, which probably isn't going to work, but we'll try and make it stick around Graham Hill Bend. And I think we've just about managed it. We're just going to send it on into Surtees and McLaren. And then out through Clearways and Clark Curve. And back onto the Brabham Straight? Cooper Straight? One of them's Brabham, one of them's Cooper, I'm not really sure. Up to 18th at the end of lap 1. And I'm having to concentrate so much I can barely speak. 2 BMWs in front of us, Turkington and Hill. We're going to follow Turkington through on Jake here. Jake's tried to shut the door because I have made that move a little bit late. But I think we're going to be able to be alongside going to Graham Hill Bend, which should be enough to take the outside line. We are. Ingram's held it up on the apex. Now he's going to block us on the exit. We're going to get a bad run. Huffy's going to get back up the inside. We're going to have to send it quite aggressively on the outside here to make something work. We're going to pin it to the white line on the inside. Tingram doesn't defend enough. He defends, but not enough. Straight up the inside of the 2022 champ. 2020, yeah, it was 22, I think. Yeah, anyway. And up the inside of the 24 champ as well. So, that's already 2 champions down. And we've got a 4-time champ in front of us, so see what we can do here. He's not going to attack Mikey Doble. Mikey Doble goes defensive on him. And that's going to be enough for us to get out the inside. Not through and clear home yet, though. Very much still next to me, and actually he's managed to get a move done on Mikey Doble. I'm going to try and follow him through, nearly get rear-ended by Jake Hill. This is all very intense. We're already scrapping. The field is starting to string out a little bit though. That usually benefits me. I've just completely doored Mikey Doble there. Sorry, Mikey. Didn't really mean to do that to you, buddy. Vauxhall up the inside as we come up towards Paddock again. Nice and sketchy on the brakes. We've turned it in, completely shut the door on Mikey Doble. Sorry about that, mate. Now we're going to try and get up the inside of Colin and Camish. Yes, we can. Camish tried to defend Colin, but didn't see us coming up the inside. Now Bobby Thompson, he's already had a chunk taken out of his rear end. Pause. Anyway, up through the gears again as we come out of Graham Hill Bend, side by side. Another 4-time champ in front of us now. Ash Sutton is alongside Chris Smiley in the Cupra version of Restart Racing. And we are going to manage to get a good drive out of there, around the outside of Bobby Thompson, possibly around the outside of Chris Smiley as well. I don't really want to make it 3 wide here, but I don't really have much choice. They are so slow in straight line. Sutton's going to cover that off. Now Thompson dives back up the inside. I'm running wide. I've got to get out of the throttle. Thompson's still up the inside. Smiley might go defensive. I'm on the grass. Oh my word. Right, well that is not how to do Druids, if anyone was wondering or confused. But I have managed to make the move stick on Chris Smiley here, I think. Oh, hello Colin, where on earth did you come from? I mean, what a move, he's definitely capitalised there. My mirrors are going to be full of him for the rest of the race, I feel like. Up the inside of Ash Sutton, maybe? No. Who's that who's lost it on the apex? Adam Morgan. Adam Morgan in the WSR BMW, getting very sideways there, holding up his stablemate Bobby Thompson and us, which means we couldn't get the move done on Ash. Not going to make it 4 wide this time. I've learned from my 3 wide this time. Made it learned from my mistakes. Make it through there. Okay. Get a good run up the hill, up the inside of Ash Sutton, up the inside of Bobby Thompson, who went for a move on Adam Morgan at the same time. 3 wide into Druids doesn't really work unless it's lap 1. It doesn't even work then. Just ask Ash Sutton and Tom Ingram and Josh Cook. Now, I mean, okay, somehow we're now past all of them who have been giving us trouble for a while. And speaking of Josh Cook, here he is. That was very much off the track at McLaren, but we managed to hold it. Finally, a little bit of breathing room as we enter the top 10. Everyone's a bit strung out. There's a little gaggle actually up in front of us for the lead, but for now we're all right. I'm not going to be in the right position to go for a cut back on the entry there on Josh Cook, but maybe on the exit. Get down to the inside nice and quickly. He's going to try and cover us. That was a late move and it shocked me. I've gone deep. He's going to try and switch back on the inside of me. He probably is going to make that work, but we will have the inside line for Graham Hill Bend. Into the ditch that isn't there anymore because they added concrete there. Going to have to defend a bit down the back straight. I think it's the Cooper straight. I'm not really sure anymore. Oh my word. Get it stopped. What on earth is going on ahead? That's Aaron Taylor-Smith having a good old scrap with Darryl DeLeon and that Dan Camish, yep, and Tom Shilton ahead of us. I can't see who else is up there. I think it's Watson maybe. Watson and Moffat, and I think that's Sumpton leading the race. Scott Sumpton. Good for him up the front. He might have started on pole actually. Down the inside of Tom Chilton here. We're going to get boxed in a little bit though. I've got a little bit of a gap to Cook behind, who is now scrapping with Bobby Thompson. And into the back of Chilton there. He's got a terrible run out of the corner, so I'm going to try and get a bit of toe off Dan Camish. I mean, we're not really up to a good enough speed yet. Well, maybe 100 mile an hour. But around the outside of Surtees never really works for anybody, but up the inside of Clearways certainly does. And it does for 3 of us there. Watson up the inside of Taylor Smith, Camish up the inside of Taylor Smith, me up the inside of Chilton and Taylor Smith. What a set of moves for the inside line there. That was like a NASCAR race when one lane gets a run. Up the inside of Dan Cam, going into paddock. This time I've lost count of the laps, so I have to make these moves quickly because I have no idea how long's left. Nice run out of Druids that time. Sitting in P5 is not shabby at all. Much better than the practice run I did. Now, Andrew Watson is the next target. Can I make a lovely little lunge into Clearways? No, that's not going to work. Never in a million. Nearly went straight into the back of him there. Good job I pulled out of that one. Now they're having a massive scrap behind, so I've got a nice big gap, which should be enough for me to get up the inside of Andrew Watson. He's not really covered it off properly, but there is only 1 lap to go. This is the final lap. Down the inside of Watson. Bouncing it off the inside curve, would not recommend. Tried it in real life, nearly ended in the wall. Druids. The leaders are squabbling. That is a change to the lead. Sumpton has lost the lead to Moffat. I'm now alongside Darryl DeLeon, but I'm not going to make that stick. Is this going to be another heartbreak for us? Another P4 in this series? No, I'm diving to the inside. I'm making this stick through the high-speed Surtees. Back to McLaren. He's still up the inside somehow. We're going to have to go the long way round Scott Sumpton. Don't really want to be doing that. Can I get a cut back here? I've got a good run. He's tried to cover it. I'm on the inside. Come on, Moffat. Give us a toe. Come on, Moffat. Yes, thank you. That is P2. What a way to finish. 2 cars in 2 corners at the end of the lap and we take P2. Well done, Aidan Moffat, on the win, making a decent move around the outside of Druids on Scott Sumpton there. I think Scott probably could have put up a little bit more of a fight. I'll give him a little flash of the headlights. Hopefully he doesn't think I'm being me. But what a race. What a race. That's Brands Hatch for you. No time to breathe at all. Corner after corner. There was no real track guide in that. If you were looking for one, this isn't the series. Maybe in some of my other race previews it will be more like that. Maybe if I do a Formula E one or something, we'll see. But for now, that is it. I am back in my pit box, and I mean, what a race. What a race.